Good morning and welcome to the At Home with Roby show. I'm Ashley Davis along with Trent Haston, President and CEO of the Roby Family of Companies. We're your hosts. Thanks for spending your Sunday morning with us. Whether you're in the car or on the couch, you're always at home with Roby. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's andrewroby.com. Trent, good morning. It's another Sunday morning here in Charlotte. We're on WBT. We've been on the show now for 6 months or so, and I thought it would be a good time kind of reset and tell the listeners, maybe some folks who have joined us in the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, just reset and tell everybody what Andrew Roby's all about, how we started, and we'll talk later in the show about what we've become, but maybe give everybody a little bit of history of what Andrew Roby and the Andrew Roby family of companies are all about.
Yeah, good morning, Ash. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, my man.
Happy Sunday. Go Panthers. We're going for 7-0. What is it, tonight?
It is tonight.
The game is tonight, right?
Big game.
So
Sunday night football.
What about Cam Newton and Greg Olsen catching up at the end of the last game?
Heck of a week
taking
last
it down
week,
in Seattle. Man, I want to be a sports talk radio
Only
guy.
half of Charlotte slept since then.
We got guys chuckling here. I don't know that much about sports, but I listen when they talk, so I'm learning. But I thought it was good. Ashley and I were talking the other day about ideas for our upcoming shows, and we have guests. We love having great guests. We think we have a really good client base and business partner base of people in the know in different industries in our city. Things that talk about Charlotte. The international school and
partners like Amy Vermillion,
developers, designers,
Lauren Clement,
architects,
that's been on, all these folks.
And people that the audience wants to hear from, and we were brainstorming, and Ashley suggested, he said, "Hey man, you're always on your soapbox. Why don't we reiterate what Andrew Roby and the Roby Family of Companies is? Why don't we tell the history and then talk about why it is what it is and how it's evolved over the 6.5 decades that we've been in business."
Absolutely, and I think if you go to the website andrewroby.com, you see our you call it the slogan all the time. It's making it home, and I think that is the core basis of everything that you do and what your grandfather and your father and now you and Travis are trying to do with the company.
And it's making it home for our clients and our associates for life. And what that means is me as a 9-year-old kid on a Saturday riding to go eat breakfast with my dad, and then we end up at a client's house on Stanford Road, and he's in there, and he did the addition on their house when he was 18, 19 years old, and that they were growing up in the house, and now this is their house. That's what making a home for life is, and it's generations, and we want to work. That's how it's a slow growth. It's not a get rich quick growth, but I want to work for your kids and your kids' friends and your cousins and the people your kids went to school with, their kids, grandkids, and it just embodies a long-term proposition, and I think that's what we always have. My dad always used to say, I went to college. I've said this. I was first-generation college guy. My dad used to always say, "Boy, you're not going to make any money running this business." He said, "You're going to have a pickup truck and a gas card, and you get part of some health insurance and a couple weeks vacation." He said, "That's all you're going to get, and that's good, and you need to be happy with that." And that's kind of that right there. Proliferated is what we are. So, well, we started in 1950.
1950, so 65 years.
65 years this year. Andrew Robychek started the business. He was a businessman from over the ocean and came over, and he hired my granddad was his first employee. My granddad was his field superintendent, Glenn Haston, and they were a two-man company in 1950, and it was Andrew Roby is what he named the business, and they were doing windows and doors and siding and roofs, and then over the next decade and a half, I think they got along so well, the business grew a little bit and evolved into more of a remodeling and renovation company. And Mr. Roby, I think, and my grandfather decided over that time that that part of the succession plan would be the Hastons.
Right.
And my granddad had some kids, and I think they started trading a little bit of the company stock at that time. And in the mid 70s, about 76, the Hastons ended up buying the company. So from Mr. Roby, and people ask me all the time. They say, I don't think this is valid when they ask it, but they say, why would you not change the company to the Haston Company? And I said, well, man, I would change my name. And I think my brother's on the same page, and I know my dad felt this way. We would change our name to Roby. I would be Trent Roby before I used Haston.
It's that generational heritage that your grandfather was a part of, and I completely agree with you. You don't want to lose that. That's what the foundation and that immigrant mentality that came over and really started it and built it from grassroots, that's part of who the company is.
Yeah, the funny thing is my granddad, he was really fond of Dr. Francis Robycheck, who was Mr. Roby, the founder of Andrew Roby's nephew. And my granddad used to tell the story, and I hope it's as true as I think it is. But he said he was the guy that went and picked Mr. Andrew Francis Robycheck, Dr. Francis Robycheck, the famous heart surgeon in Charlotte that founded the Sanger Clinic, went and picked him up from the airport, and he said, Mr. Roby said, Glenn, can you go pick up my nephew? He's gonna be famous. He said, and some years later, he said, I'll be doggone, I shortened my name to Americanize it for business from Robycheck to Roby, and my nephew comes over here and makes way more money than I ever even thought about counting. So that's the story.
And saving lives. That's a neat
it.
connection. That is a neat
Pretty
connection.
cool. And Charlotte loves Dr. Francis Robycheck. Thank you for what you've done for our
Changed
city.
a lot of lives. All right, stay with us. We're going to take a break, Trent. When we come back, we'll talk more about the history of the Andrew Roby Company and what it's evolved into now in 2015. You're listening to the At Home with Roby show. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.